and welcome to Canva Basics with That Captivating Social, where we're going to be teaching you everything that you need to know to get started designing in Canva. So, in this part, we're going to be talking about the basic components of your Canva designs, text, images, and elements to help you get started. So, let's go ahead and head over to our home page. At the very front, what will you design today? So this is going to give you, if you're looking for any of these, you can search templates here, but we're going to come up here to create design. We're just going to start with a basic design. Now you can search here for any size design that you may be looking to do. So let's say you're looking to create an Instagram story. Type in story and you'll find that here. But we're just going to start off today with a simple square graphic and do an Instagram post. So when we open this up, you'll notice on the left-hand side, you have all of these icons. This is really going to be your toolbar to start getting designing. Now this top one has templates, and as you can see, this has plenty of pre-made designs that you can add in and adjust, so it can make it very simple. These kind of work just like our templates on our website. So you can scroll these, you can search them if you're looking for something. Let's say you want to create a chart. We've got plenty of charts here. You can click on one of these, go ahead and change out whatever you're looking to do. But for today, we're going to make it very simple, and we're just going to start with a simple square and work from there. So, first of all, you noticed me change the color of this. So let's just talk about that. This background image or this background, you can change the color or add a picture at any time. So this color tool up here is going to allow you to select your background color. You can choose one of them that's already up here in your default colors, or you can add a new color. This will allow you to search the spectrum and find a new color, or if you have brand colors that you want to use, you can enter a hex code here and it'll bring up that color. Let's delete that. I want to keep it white. We can also add a photo into the background. So this is the photo that I had in our Canva Basics icon. You can click it and it's just going to add that to your photo, and you can resize it, draw it up to where it covers the whole thing. Or here's another tip that I love to do. Just click on it and we're going to drag it over, and it is going to fill that entire background space. So you can use this with any picture. Once you've done your picture, you can also edit your image. You can add shadows, adjust the brightness, filters, things like that. You can crop it, move that around until it's in the suitable location. You can flip it, so flip it horizontally and reverse that image, or vertically. You can also animate this post. Today, we're not really going to do that. We might do that in a later part. And then finally, transparency. You can bring the transparency down on this if you're looking for more of a subtle background image that you're adding text to. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the transparency back up to 100 and refill it with that, just because it's a nice simple background for us to work on. Now, in your photo bar, you can search, you can get your photos two different ways. You can search these photos, and let's say I was looking for a desk with a computer in a previous design, and it's going to give us all of these options. Now, keep in mind, if you have a free account versus a pro account, you want to make sure that you are using free images. That means it's not going to charge you, you're not going to have to pay for the image. If you're wanting those specifically, come over here to the filter bar and you can click free and apply filters. Now it's only going to bring up those free photos for you. So just a little tip to help you so that you're not frustrated adding photos and later finding out that you need to pay for them. If you have Canva Pro, or if you upgrade to Canva Pro, which is $12.95 a month, you get all the images for free. Another way we can add images is uploading them from our computer. So you're going to go into your uploads. You can either just record yourself right from your computer or your phone, or hit upload media. You can search your computer, find an image. Let's do this one, and we're going to upload that. Now that image is available for us to use. We can do the same thing that we've done with our other background images. Next up, we're going to be adding some text to this. When you click on text, just like your templates, they're going to go ahead and give you some amazing font combinations that you can use. Again, most of these are free. Some of them do have pro elements to them, so just be mindful of that. But if you're just wanting to add some simple text, we're just going to click up here and add a subheading is usually what I start with. That's just my standard text, my standard go-to text, but it really doesn't matter which one you click on because you can do the same thing with any of them. So to make this a little bigger, we're going to use the arrow and drag that up, make it a little bit bigger, maybe make that box a little bit wider. That is one way to do it. Otherwise, there is a font size here. You can click on that. You can adjust it little by little, or you can just pick a standard font size if you want it. If you have a specific font you want to use, you can type it in as well. So now that we've got the text to a size that we can kind of read it, let's talk about the rest of the text toolbar up here. The first one is going to be your font. This is when you click on this, it is going to give you so many options that you can change your font to. It pretty much has everything, but if you're looking for something specific, you can search it as well. Search by name or by type. So let's say we want to go for a nice script font. We're going to search that and it's going to bring up a bunch of different options for us to use, and we'll just click on one of those and use one of those. Next, we can change our text color by clicking this button. Again, this works the same as that background text where we can just choose a color that's already up here in our default colors, or use the use the color selector and pick a new color. There's also this feature down here that I find really nice when I'm trying to make a cohesive brand, and that's photo colors. This is going to automatically pull some of the colors from the photo and give you some options here. Now with this one, we're using a pretty standard photo, so we don't have many options. But when you use a different photo, you'll see how these kind of change and everything like that. Let's go ahead and change it to this green. And I'm going to change this to hello everyone because it's just more fun to look at. Now this script font doesn't support bold or italics font, but if the font that you chose does, it will allow you to make it bold or italics. This kind of works the same as your Word documents. You've got your alignment here, so you can, left justify it, right justify it, center it, anything like that, as well as add bullet points if you're doing a list or something like that. Now, spacing is something I use very often. It allows you to get a little bit more creative with your text, and you can space by either letter or by line. So for instance, if we up the letter spacing on this, it's going to bring the letters further apart, bring them closer together if you go into the negative. This isn't 2 lines, but let's make it 2 lines with just a return, and you'll see that I can change the line spacing as well to fit my design. Effects is going to allow you to do things like add shadows or hollow or curve the text. And just to kind of show you this a little bit, we'll just pick one, lift. You can kind of see that just a little bit of shadow behind it. You can intensify it or bring it down a little bit. Each of these, we're not going to go into them today, but you can adjust, kind of play around with it to find what works for you. Animation, we're not going to talk about that today. We'll do that in another one and talk about how to animate pages as well as specific elements of your design. And then this three little dots is going to give you a few more options. Your underline, you can make everything capitalized pretty easily. You can position it and align them in certain ways. You can change the transparency, just like we did with the photo. You can also link. So if you're doing like a PDF and you want to add some links to your website, you can do that there. And lock and duplicate, those are kind of self-explanatory, but we're not going to go into those today. So now that we've got our text, let's add some fun elements to this. And this is driving me nuts, so I'm going to change that to a capital E. And some text. Let's add some elements to make this a little bit more interesting. So we're going to click over on elements, and as you'll see, there's tons of different types of elements that you can add. Lines and shapes, graphics, photos, videos, charts, frames, grids. We're not going to talk about all of them today because this is basics, but we will talk about them in another video. So you can search through here for ones that are maybe suggested or featured, or you can actually type out in the search bar what you're looking for. We're just going to look for a star today. Now it's going to pull up all the types of elements that they have, and you can filter by photos, graphics, videos, and audio as well. So I am just going to use a simple element right here. And I hate when this happens. If this ever does happen to you, the easiest way I can just kind of click and get it from the background. I don't know why it does that, or you can position it and move it forward to where you can actually like grab it over that. Sorry about that little tip. Sorry about that. All right, with this element, we can resize it using the corners, make it as big as we want. And this yellow doesn't really suit my design, so we're gonna head to the toolbar and talk about how we can change that. I'm going to click on the color, and again, just like everything else, we can change this using the default colors, the photo colors, the palette that I have, or just choosing a color in and of itself. Let's change to white. I think that'll look better. All right. Now we can edit this image. I don't often edit elements, but there are a few things that you can do. You can crop it. So if we really only wanted this part of it, we could do that. We could, just like the photo, you can also flip it if that's better for your design. And again, animation we'll talk about on another day. You saw me use this position earlier to kind of fix it. I can make this go to either the back of the design or the front of the design. So if I want it to kind of be behind other elements, I can do that and it'll push it behind the text. Otherwise, it doesn't necessarily matter. You can have it forward or back if it's just on top of the design. Ooh. Transparency, we can make this lighter if we needed to. We can also link this. And then this is my favorite tool of all time if I am wanting to use the same element over and over again. It's this duplicate button. We didn't talk about this before, but you can duplicate with text, image, or elements, anything like that, and even the page, and I absolutely love it. So I'm just going to duplicate this image, put it on this side. We're going to flip it so that we get the mirrored image. Let's do that a couple more times. Let's flip it vertically. Come back down and flip it vertically. There we go. We have a cute little image to go ahead and use for our Instagram. So now it's time to download that. We're going to click the download button, and this will ask you what file type you want to download. PNG is the most common that we're going to use for Instagram posts, Facebook posts, social media in general. JPEG is probably what you're more used to. It's more commonly known file type. It is a little bit smaller image size. It's okay. It works great if you want to use that. Obviously, PDF and PDF print, these are used if you're going to be doing something like a seller's guide, buyer's guide that you're going to be sending to a printer and actually have it printed out. SVG, not very common. It's only used in Pro, so we're not going to talk about that. If you're animating, you're going to want to download as an MP4 video, or you can do a GIF. We're just going to stick with the standard PNG. If you need a bigger size for quality, you can like X that, double or 2X that or whatever, and make it a higher quality image. If we were, and you can do transparent background and compressed files. Again, these are only pro things that, or things that you can do with Canva Pro, so people don't always do that. Then you're just going to click download. It is going to download this and put it into your download folder. And we've got this ready to use for anything that we need. So again, these are just the basics to get you started, adding photos, adding elements, adding text. Once you get to know where the toolbars are and what you can do, the options are literally endless. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Canva Basics Part 1, and it gave you some insight on how to start your Canva designs, and we look forward to helping you guys in Part 2.